For ages men have scoffed at the sacred record, calling it mere legend spun by shepherds beneath starlit skies, stories softened by generations, stretched by eager tongues, dismissed as folklore to soothe fearful hearts. But in the sun-scorched deserts of ancient Jordan lay a silent witness, a stone buried beneath centuries of dust and disdain, waiting, patient, untouched by the pride of men. It was not hewn by prophets nor etched by priests, but by the hand of an enemy king, a ruler who warred against Israel and scorned her God, yet in mocking triumph unwittingly carved eternity into stone. There upon that black basalt block, nearly 4 feet tall, written in the script of Moab, an inscription that should have been forgotten, was found the unthinkable, the name of Yahweh, not hidden in Psalms nor wrapped in Hebrew scroll, but declared by the lips of a pagan who sought only to exalt his own God, Chemosh. Why would he record the God of Israel? Not to worship, but to boast, to proclaim conquest, to drag Yahweh's sacred vessels before his idols and declare victory. And yet in that dark moment of arrogance, he preserved a truth that time itself could not erase. For in the year 1868 a wandering missionary stumbled upon the ruins of Taban and discovered the Meshestel, the Moabite stone, and there it was line upon line recounting battles, also written into kings, naming real kings, real cities, real wars, echoing scripture with the voice of an adversary. Omri, king of Israel, Adaroth, Nebo, Medba, names found not only in the Bible, but now upon the lips of Moab's monarch. This was not myth meeting myth, but history shaking hands with history. Two rival nations telling the same tale from opposite sides of the battlefield. And when conqueror and conquered remember alike, when the victor who has every cause to distort still speaks the names your own records declare, then truth stands unchallenged, like a banner unfurled upon the hills. Even more startling, this king did not question Yahweh's reality. He did not scoff that Israel's God was fantasy. No, he treated him as a genuine foe to be subdued and humiliated. And I took the vessels of Yahweh, he boasted, and I dragged them before Chemosh, not an invented god, not a late priestly fiction, but Yahweh, the very name used over 6,000 times in scripture, alive in the mouths of Israel, as fiercest enemies 300 years before the Babylonian exile that skeptics claim invented him. How can Yahweh be myth if even his foes feared him? This stone was not written to defend Israel's God, but in scorning him, it made the strongest defense of all hostile corroboration. For when your enemies confess your history, their grudging witness outweighs all friendly testimony. The stones themselves cry out, just as Jesus declared in Luke 19:40, that if men fall silent, the stones will proclaim, and so they do. This Moabite relic, meant to glorify Chemosh, stands instead as a monument to Yahweh's enduring name, carved not in parchment that might rot, but in stone that laughs at the passing of centuries. Empires rose and fell, their gods vanished into shadows, their victories lost to dust. Yet this inscription remains, preserving Yahweh's name across millennia. And as we hold it in our modern hands, we are confronted by a God who cannot be erased. He stands outside our doubts, outside our revisions and clever theories, unchanged by the cold logic of skeptics. The very stones testify that Yahweh was worshipped, honored, feared by friend and foe alike long before the scribes of exile ever penned their words. This is no hollow tale, this is truth set in basalt. Truth that humbles every proud argument. For what pagan king would risk honoring his rival's deity? None, unless compelled by undeniable reality. And so the name of Yahweh, spoken in derision by King Mesha, becomes a shout across history that God's story is not born of legend, but rooted in the soil of the ancient world. Let every skeptic wrestle with this, that even Israel's enemies could not silence his name. And if God ensured his memory was kept alive by the very hand that sought to mock him, how much more is he speaking to you now? This stone does not merely challenge the mind, it pierces the heart. It stands as a question etched in rock, asking every soul, what will you do with the truth that even your enemies proclaimed? You can deny it, ignore it, explain it away, but you cannot say you never heard it, for the stone has spoken, the ruins have testified, the ancient world whispers still, and its echo finds you here. What will you do with the God who wrote his name not just in scripture, but in stone? This is not only the history of Israel, this is the history of God pursuing man, even through the mouths of those who hated him. So pause, let it sink in, because once you know the stones have cried out, you can never be the same. Subscribe to Ignite.